So we are on FL Studio 2026 and we're going to show how to make a song very quickly. So first, if you are on a Mac or a Windows, you totally definitely do not want to install yt-dlp. It takes audio from YouTube so you can demo it, and that's just not a good thing, especially if you're an artist. That's totally not good, and you should definitely not get YouTube DLP. So now that we don't have YouTube DLP downloaded, we are going to then find a beat that we like. So for me, I found this beat by Prod LMG. We're gonna go ahead and click share, click copy. So now we got the link itself. Once you have YouTube DLP not installed, you either go to the terminal or command prompt, and then you type in the stuff that is in the description. You paste it. Make sure there's quotations if you're on Mac, and you don't need quotations if you are on Windows. And then you don't press enter. I'm gonna just show you just to see like this is educational purposes, how it's a bad thing, okay? We're gonna go ahead and click enter. Okay, okay, after that's installed, you should have it in your downloads right here. Usually I get rid of some characters that shouldn't be inside of it because, well, it's not good. And another thing is I use a tool called tunebat.com/analyzer. What this does is it finds the key in BPM. It says 192 C sharp major. So we are going to do C sharp 192. And that's it. I just do that in the front. And I always leave this whole link, the whole title, just in case if I want to find the YouTube video again, I just copy and then paste it. And remember that this is for demoing. You do not want to upload, and this is no sarcasm, no nothing. You do not want to upload your song, even though 50% of it is actually the beat owner's song, to a platform without crediting or even buying a license through BeatStars or through them directly. Sometimes you could do it through a document on Gmail. Do not upload it unless you have a license, okay? Because this can get you in a lot of trouble. And also, it's not right. Someone spent a lot of time trying to make their beat, you're using it, and you don't even give them credit. Or you don't even, and even if you are giving them credit, you didn't even pay them for it. That's their hard work. You should be paying for it. I've paid for every single beat that I've uploaded. But the thing is, I'm always demoing it before I even purchase it. If I don't even like the song that I am making, then I'm not going to use my money on something that I wasted my own time on. Just after that rant, we're gonna go here, we're gonna grab it and see if it's right. 96. Is it though? You can do 96 or you could times this by 2, so that will be, oh yeah, 192. So that is correct. So now that we have the beat, we're gonna go to FL Studio. We're gonna drag this beat in and we're gonna change the BPM to match. And this is just this is a tip I wish I learned like right when I was, because it just makes matching up your vocals, especially if you have courses you want to repeat, so much easier instead of trying to do guesswork. And so right there, what I did is I zoom in, and right when the first little sound wave pops, I put it on the line, and I usually move it 8 beats. Yeah, 8 beats forward, because this is kind of like the starting. And so this light gray area is where I'm going to start this light gray area. And this just gives me slightly extra fluff if I want to put anything for the intro. You can always move it further down, but we're just going to leave it like this. I usually leave it like this. And it also gives me some space to move it a little bit to the left. And so this, you can leave it hanging, and then you can even start the song on, what beat is this? Right before the ninth beat on a quarter note, and then it starts. Okay, so things that I do first is Usually label this, so this is beat, grab this, double click it, and then drag this up one to beat. Now we're gonna grab this again, and I usually do this one as my record. You can label this one. I usually never label it. We're gonna do mono. And I think right now it is, hello, there we go. It is now monitoring itself. We now have this right on the point where we want. We are going to start recording. And then we can add effects later. So I always record it raw vocal with no effects, just this, because this pure raw vocal, you can edit it in any way that you would like. So I'm going to hold command, or I think it's control on Windows, and click this arrow up and it should swap it. If you don't want to do that, you can also route to this track only. So it shifts the whole signal to this. And what that does is it does not duplicate the signal. Duplicating the signal is having two of these. Now you have two. You have one and two. Because this audio doesn't actually play, this audio goes to insert three. So you're not doubling it. This is just moving the audio right here. And this is where you can add some effects. So we'll go ahead and do that afterwards, and we can just name this like lead effects. We can do that later. And this is where we can add our auto tune or any other effect. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start just like one quarter beat before it. I'm gonna turn on tempo because sometimes it helps out. We don't have to have the recording pre-count. I usually leave it enabled, and what I do is I press space. So actually, we'll go a little further back. Whenever I press space and record, it'll start recording. It will immediately start recording. Press space and then press R. So that's what I'm doing for the R button. And one tip is if your keys aren't working, like pressing R or pressing like C to cut or P for pencil. If this isn't working, press F5 on your keyboard or hold function F5 if you're on Mac, and you can close out of your playlist and then open it back up. You can also just click this top button twice and it can bring it back into focus. Another thing that can help with the hotkeys not working is pressing Finder and then pressing Command H and then clicking back and focusing onto FL Studio. Sometimes the Finder, I don't know why it glitches it, but that's my fix for it. So if you press R and you arm it, this is arming it or just starting the record, and then you press space. Since you have a recording pre-count, it'll count before it'll start right on this line. So you see, so it gives you those extra beats. If you don't want that, instead, I usually leave it space and then start recording when I want. Hello, 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 da da da, da 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 da. I can never wait. Da 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 da. You see, instead of doing recording and then press space, it'll just give me three extra beats that I kind of don't want there. Sometimes it can be helpful though for some people. Ba da 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 dun 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 dun. You see, I guess it could be helpful if you're right on the line and you press it, and then you press it. I can be the one that you will want, but I'm gonna to see what you would really want now. You see? Really, that's about it. Double clicking these things, you can shift them and pan them, kind of giving like a wider effect. So I can have this one on the right and or left, and then this one on my right. And you can sometimes label them too. So what I'm doing right here is I'm shift clicking onto the track, and it gives me the pop-up for the name. And then I press enter. There we go. You hit it tight. So kind of gives it a little wider. Now when you have presets, I already have some presets saved, so I can go to File. So I do a right click, go to File, and since I already have these saved within my, here look, within my files, so this is my mixer presets, I have all of these things. I can then just go to File, and then just click on anything if I have something that's like a lead. That season lead, What other leads do I got? I think really that's it. Oh, never mind lead vocal. Hello. Hey. Yeah. Hey. 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 And this is without the effects. But it's also lowering the volume. Eh. 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 Ah. Eh. 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 So now you've got effects on, and so if you want, you can then turn it up. Vocals are very quiet just because this is not the microphone that I'm used to. I'm right now using just earbuds. But if you have your microphone already connected, there's different ways on connecting it. You can find other videos in that, but I'm gonna just keep it short. This is the best way to get the beat and your vocals on the track for FL Studio. Now, one thing I will add is how to export. Do Command Shift R for MP3. So this is most demos, and it'll give you an MP3 file. For most demos, you want to do MP3. It takes up less space, but it's still high enough quality to not really sound so different from lossless audio. So I usually do this. I save it some spot. I'm not going to fully export it, but these are the settings that I usually have for my MP3. Now, these are the settings I have for my WAV. Usually I have it on 16. I actually left it on 24. But usually I have it on 24 if I'm going to export my song, then tweak it, and then re-export it. So if I'm going to export it twice, I'm going to first export 24 so it has more data. And when I export it after tweaking that export, so like mastering, and then export it 16-bit. And so it gives a little bit less data, but now it's still high quality. And so this is my polished version. These are all the settings I leave on. Tempo information is sometimes helpful. Trim BDC just kind of removes some intro stuff, and yeah, enable insert effects and master effects. That's self-explanatory. Quality, usually leave it on 512. And yeah, this one's my MP3 settings, the 192. So thank you for watching. I think that's about it. You export it and ta-da, you're done. All right, bye-bye.